Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you about the classification of food and the elements of the nutrition. Classification of food. So, among all the types of food, ideally food can be classified into the 5 categories. So, now we will see what all are that 5 categories in which we have classified the food. As you can see in the slide, food is classified into the 5 categories. The first is by their origin. Okay, so by the origin, food can be classified into 2 categories. The food which we are getting from the vegetarian source, that means food from the plant or vegetable source, and the food from the non-vegetarian source, same as the food from the animal source. So by the origin, food is classified into the 2 categories. The second categories of classification is by the chemical compositions. Okay, so each nutrients which are present in the foods are having the different kind of chemical compositions. So based on the chemical compositions, food can be classified into the next category. Another classification of food involves predominant functions. Like each and every nutrients are having different functions. If we are taking the examples of that, suppose the carbohydrate food. So carbohydrate is energy needing food. So providing energy, that is the function of carbohydrate. Okay. Next is the bodybuilding or repairment function. So protein is the bodybuilding nutrients. Next is the protective or regulatory foods. So that is the functions of vitamins and the minerals. So based on such kind of predominant functions, food is also classified. The next classification categories is based on the nutritive value. So each and every nutrients which are there in the food or in the diet are having the particular nutritive values. And the last classification group is basic 5 food groups. So in this category, the food is classified into 5 food groups. So now we'll see in the details which all are this classification of the food. So the first classification of food is by their origin. So by their origin, food is classified into the 2 types. The first is food of animal origin and the second one is food of vegetable origin, which directly means the food which we are getting from the animal origin, that's all are the non-vegetarian food, and the food which we are getting from the vegetable origin, that all are the vegetarian foods. So the meat, chicken, poultry products, fish, that all are the non-vegetarian food, and the grains, legumes, nuts, fruits and vegetables, roots and tubers, these all are the vegetable origin foods. So you can see in the picture, and you are all are familiar with these logos. The green is suggesting the vegetarian food and the red symbol with the square is suggesting non-vegetarian food. Now, the second classification is by the chemical compositions. So as I have told you before, each and every nutrients are having the different kind of chemical compositions. Like carbohydrates are made up of a carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, whereas the proteins are made up of the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, as well as it is also contains some of the nitrogenous group compounds. Okay, vitamins and minerals are also having the different kind of chemical compositions. Okay, so based on the chemical compositions, based on the chemical structures, food can be classified into the 5 categories, that are the carbohydrate, proteins, fats, vitamins and the minerals. The third classification is by the predominant functions. So based on the functions of each nutrient, food can be classified into three types, that is the energy yielding foods, body building foods and the protective or the regulatory foods. So energy yielding food, which means carbohydrates food are giving energy to us. Body building food, which means protein rich foods are providing body building structure or they are functioning for the muscles body mass. And the last category is the protective foods. So vitamins and minerals are protective foods which are very necessary for our body to protect our body against the various infections. Under the predominant function, first type is energy yielding foods. So foods rich in a carbohydrate and fats are energy yielding foods. Yielding, that means providing. Okay, so carbohydrate and fats are providing maximum amount of energy to our body. The examples of such foods include cereals, roots and tubers, sugar, oil and the butter. Okay, so cereals, roots and tubers and sugars are the highest, or we can say the richest source of the carbohydrate, and we are getting fat from the oil and the butter. The second type under the predominant function is body building foods. Protein rich foods are considered as body building foods. The main function of protein is to build and repair the tissue. Okay, so to build our body mass, to build the strengthened muscles body mass, we require protein rich food. So people who are going in a gym doing the muscular exercise, so the expert of the gyms are suggesting to have the more protein in the diet. Why? Because protein in helping in the building the muscle mass. Not only the building, but also it is working for the repairment also. So if any person is getting injured or having any wound in the extremities, so to repair that wound, to heal that wound, also we require the protein, because protein is helping to repair the damaged cells and tissue. The examples of bodybuilding foods include meat, fish, poultry products, eggs, pulses and the legumes. So major amount of protein is we are getting from the non-vegetarian foods, okay, like meat, fish, poultry and eggs. And the least amount of protein we are getting from the vegetarian source, and that is from the pulses and the legumes. So here you can see some of the food sources, or we can say the dietary sources of protein rich foods like eggs, chicken, lean beef, fish, soya beans, quinoa seeds, milk, cottage cheese, oysters and the almonds. These foods are the source of protein. And the last type under the predominant function is protective foods. Foods rich in a protein, vitamins and the minerals are considered protective foods because these nutrients are essential for our body to protect our body from the foreign material, from the infections. And because of these nutrients, vitamins and minerals, we are able to boost our immunity system. And if our immunity system is strengthened, it will protect us from the various kind of infections. The protective foods examples include green leafy vegetables, fruits, eggs and the milk. So maximum amount of vitamins and minerals we are getting from the green leafy vegetables and from the fruits. The fourth classification of food is by their nutritive value. So these all are the food products which are having the different kind of nutritive values. So under this classification, foods are involved like cereals and millets, pulses, vegetables, fruits, nuts and oil seeds, animal foods, fats and oil, sugar and jaggery, and the spices. Each and every food products are having the different kind of nutritive value. And the last classification is classification by 5 food groups. So you can see in the slide and you can clearly get idea the food is classified into the 5 basic food groups. So in the first group of food they have involved cereals, roots and tubers, which means the food which is providing carbohydrate to our body, that all types of foods are there in group 1. In group 2, protein giving foods are involved. In group 3, fats or oil and sugar or jaggery are involved. So in group 3, there will be an involvement of 2 nutrients, the fats and the carbohydrate, because from the fats and oils we are getting the lipids, or we can say the fatty acids, and from sugar and jaggery we are getting the carbohydrates. The fourth food group is a protective vegetables and fruits, which means this involve vitamins and the minerals. The group 4 is there for vitamins and the minerals. And the last, that means fifth food group is other vegetables. So this is the last type of the food, that is the 5 food groups. Now the next topic is elements of nutrition. So basically there are 2 types of elements in the nutrition. The first is the macronutrients and the micronutrients. Macro, that means you can see the word here macro. Okay, macro, that means we are required it in a large quantity, whereas micro, that means small. So we require such kind of nutrients in very small amounts. So let us see the difference between the micro and the macronutrients. First, we will see what is a macronutrient. They are consumed in a large amount and form the major portion of the food. Okay, as I told you in a previous slide, macro, that means the large amount. Okay, so such kind of nutrients we are required in a larger amount and they form a major portion of our meal. The examples of macronutrients involve carbohydrate and the fats. What is a micronutrient? They are required in a small amount and are vital for the optimal functioning of the body. Okay, micro, which means small. So these kind of nutrients we are required in very small amount, but it is very important for the normal functioning of the body. The examples of micronutrients are vitamins and the minerals. Here is a difference between macronutrients and the micronutrients. So the macronutrients required in a relatively large amount, whereas the micronutrients are also we are known as a trace element, are required in very small amounts. The macronutrients include carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium and magnesium. So these all are substances are involved in as a macronutrients. Micronutrients include iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine and the nickel. Macronutrients are non-toxic in a slightly excessive quantity, which means if you are consuming excessive amount of macronutrients, it will not create any harmful effect in your body. That means they are non-toxic if taken in a larger quantity. Whereas the micronutrients show toxic effects even in a slight excess, which means If you are taking micronutrients in an excessive amount, it may create the toxic or harmful effect in your body as a result of allergic reactions. Macronutrients contribute in the development of osmotic potential in the cells. They are giving their contribution in the cellular functions, whereas micronutrients do not play any role in the development of osmotic potential in the cells. So this is about the difference between the macronutrients and the micronutrients. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you guys liked my video, please like it, share it, and do not forget to subscribe it. Thank you so much.